it's Carrie the Paper Monkey. Excuse my reach, right? That my intros are terrible. I apologize. If you are new here, welcome. I've got a lot of new folks here. Thank you so much for dropping in. And if you are coming back, thank you for coming back, my friends. Listen, my friend, speaking of friends, my friend Arlene reached out to me. She's my subscriber, but I call y'all my friends. She reached out to me and she wanted to know if I picked or how I picked the pages for my junk journals, if I would talk about that. And I was just like, yes, I will. Now, for those of you who are coming back, you know, I really don't do a lot of process videos. I'm going to start trying to do more, but I just, listen, I'm going to try to get through this without muddying the waters, if that makes sense. I just started this bee journal. I love it. I've had this book a couple of years. We're not going to dwell on that. But I'm going to show you what I do in preparation of getting this journal ready. Now, I've already, of course, done the spine, and it's a soft spine and all that. We're not going to talk about that today. We're going to talk about the book pages and just like pages in general. This is the actual book. Now, a lot of these pages, not a lot, but there were some of these pages that were in really rough shape at the seam. You can see like this right here, it was coming apart, right? So all I do to address that is typically I will either take fabric or I will take coffee dyed paper, just depends on the look of the actual pages. And I will bolster that seam, that book page seam. So I'm going to show you, because this is the last page I have to do. I said, well, let me stop and do a video or start videoing this part so I can show you. I will go ahead and measure how tall I need the coffee dyed paper to be, or fabric, and then I'll cut it down. Typically, I'll do anywhere from 1 1/4 to 1 3/4 inch wide. That's about as wide. This happens to be 1.5 inches, okay? I will then take the paper that I've cut down and I just fold it in half and make a really good seam right here, because that's what I need to see whenever I go to glue it to the page. Because I'm telling you, this part can get a little wonky. That's why I'm telling y'all that. This is the part that gets a little bit wonky if you do it like this, okay? I make sure and I have a lot of glue, or glue as much as I can, or glue around especially the edges, okay? All right. Now, I'm going to take this page right here and I'm going to fold it. I'm not going to put it together, but I'm going to fold it like so, okay? And then I'm going to take this page and I'm going to put it, leaving just the tiniest gap between that crease and the edge of this book page. So I got to hold my tongue just right so I can't talk. Okay, hold on. Put that down and that down. Okay. Now, I'm going to show you. You see, I've got just a little bit of space between. There's a reason for that. If you butt it right up against that actual seam right there, if you put it right in that, where that space is, it will cause a bump where you're going to sew. Is that a big deal? No, it's not. But you want that transition there to be as smooth as possible, okay? So, with my fingers, I just flatten it like this, make sure it's adhered pretty good to that one side, and then I don't come over like this. I take and open the page, and then I flatten it like this. I'll turn it over, and I will smooth it down with my bone folder, okay? Now, the reason that I don't smooth it on this side is because, like, for example, you see this right here, how it's, and these little holes and these little bumps right here, that, if you're not careful, it can catch on your bone folder and it can tear. And that's kind of what I'm trying to avoid. Again, is it that big of a deal? It can be fixed. I'll tell you, anything can be fixed in junk journaling. You're just saving yourself a couple of steps, right? Really and truly, that's all you're doing. Then I'll take it. Then I'll take my page. And I'll make sure and catch that crease again. Okay. And then I'll do my bone folder here and here. Does it seem like a lot? Well, maybe, but I would rather know or be comfortable knowing that I've done everything that I can for the integrity of this seam, because I want it to be able to hold the thread and not rip and tear, right? Now, you can also come back with paper, with another paper on this side if you want to. I think we're going to be okay doing it like this. Some people use washi tape or masking tape, or even I've seen like transparent tape, right? I've even seen that. This is my transparent tape here. It's just in a big dispenser, right? So I've seen people do that. I just, I don't know how long this holds up, but again, we're not making archival pieces. This is not meant to be, 100-year-old book. It's just not, that's not what it's about. But I don't tend to use this. Or if you use washi or masking tape, you have to remember that there's a thickness to anything that you use. So washi and masking tape, to me, was really the same thing, washi as masking tape, but they're a little thicker than just copy paper, and they're going to build, this is going to get thicker and thicker and thicker. So when you do this, remember, your pages are going to jut out more and more and more. So that's why I've just kind of always stuck to paper or thin cotton fabric. I've used that too. Okay. So now your book page is pretty secure. Okay. Now, here's the fun part. This is not like, I will spend hours doing this, and I love it. But I won't spend hours with you guys. Okay, let me show you. We're going to use this Echo Park, and I know somebody's going to ask me what the name of it is and all that. This is the Echo Park. This is fairly new too. This is called Honeybee. Okay. I bought this scrapbook paper specifically for this book. Like, I knew I was going to use it in this book, right? Okay. I know because of the size of this book and my preference, this is a preference thing, but whenever I make a book this size, because it's a little taller and a little wider, and I'm going to have to hinge pages, those signatures are going to get a little heavy. So I will do 2 signatures in a book like this. My little golden books, I'll do 3 signatures, but I know because of the size and stuff, it's not going to be as heavy. This book's going to get heavy. So I'm going to do 2 signatures. 2 to 3 pages of those 2 signatures in this book are going to come from this scrapbook paper. So, Arlene, to answer your question, that's about as close to a formula as I'm going to get. I know that because of the weight and because I'll have to hinge these pages, I'm only going to have between 2 and 3 pages of this scrapbook paper. Now, this is thick scrapbook paper. I may also pull other scrapbook paper, but they'll be copy paper weight. Like, I think, if I remember correctly, I have some scrapbook paper that's not of this line, but it has bees on it. I'm going to have to dig through my scrapbook paper, but I know they're copy paper weight and they're not double-sided images. That I will probably pull. Okay, and then I also like to use vellum. Now, I don't know if I'll be able to do that in this book because, again, I'm going to have to hinge the pages. I don't like to hinge vellum. I just don't. I like vellum to be vellum. Not to say that I couldn't fold it in a way where, it doesn't have to be, none of this has to be the width of this book. None of it. But I'm going to make a lot of it, the majority of the pages, the width of this book by hinging. So I'll look at this scrapbook paper line. I automatically will go through, like you see here, these 2 journaling pages. if they have journal cards, I'm going to pull them out. And I've already done that here. So I've pulled these, and of course the sticker pad. I'm going to pull these out. They're out of the running, okay? Here's the cover page. Here's the, this is Honeybee Collection, and there's the item number if you guys want that, okay? So I know that right off the bat. The center of the signature is typically what I pick first. Don't ask me why. I like it to be significant, visually significant in my eye, okay? Here's where a little bit of, I don't want to call it an issue because issue is the wrong word, but here's where I'm going to have to think through, and I'll probably have to turn off the camera to do this, but I will have to think through how I'm going to pick the center signature, because it's going to have to be hinged because of the width of this book. So look, my pages, I haven't even done this yet. I need to write this down. So my pages are going to be, oh yeah, look, to go all the way across, 6.5 plus 6.5 to have a full page, that's 13 inches. Well, we all know this is only 12 inches, right? So I'm going to have to figure out, what am I going to do to make up for that 1 inch? I may not have to hinge it in any way, because depending on the pages I have that are behind this signature, it may be enough of a compliment, because you're only talking about 1 inch on either side, enough of a compliment that if I do it neutral, it'll look okay. But I will tell you, I've kind of already looked at these pages, and I think out of the choices here, these are going to be my 2 signatures. I love this look, and I've always loved this look. This color combination, I love in clothing and automobile interiors. I always have. So these are going to become my 2 signatures. Now, let me show you something else. See how this back is very busy, right? A lot of the times, whenever I have a page that I know I'm going to have to cut down in order to, especially a signature, for it to fit the length of this book, like this is going to be, I'm going to cut them down 10 inches. So I'm going to have 2 inches to play with, basically. A lot of the times I will just turn up and make a pocket. Well, guess what? I don't like that. It's not that I don't like it. That's going to take away from this look. So what I'm going to do is I'm literally going to cut down 2 inches, and then I will take that and I will glue it to the front and make the pocket like that. I'll either glue it like that, or I don't know, I'll do something, but it will be this side on top of this side. I don't want to show this side at all, not on the signature. Okay, now this one is a little bit different because I want this to show. Like I really do. I'd love to be able to keep that whole image, but I know I'm not going to be able to. It's going to cut it. I'm going to have to cut it about right there, about right here. But I still have enough of this corner that it's going to be okay. But what I'm thinking right now is I don't want to cover it with a pocket across. So what I'll do on this signature, probably, maybe, is I'll put an up tuck up here. Okay. And then I'll do some kind of, probably a curved pocket here. Just depends. But I know I will have to cut this down. So let me, this is going to be the first break that we do in this video. Let me go cut some of this stuff down and kind of think through how I'm going to proceed with it. Show you guys what I did while you were away. No, while I was away. So here's, we kind of talked through these signatures. These are the center signatures. Now, when I left you, I said I didn't want this side to show because it was too distracting. A lot of the times, I will change my mind. Because sometimes I can't picture what that would look like. Well, when I cut the bottom off of this page, because I knew I needed just 10 inches, right? So I cut 2 inches off. That's what this represents, the cut off. I knew I wanted to have, or thought I wanted to have, a little pocket in the signature. Whenever I looked at it, I thought, well, you know what? That's really not that bad. Because when you look at it, when I looked at it from this perspective, it's a lot. It was a lot. It's busy. But when you look at it from this perspective with just a 2-inch strip, it's not a lot. So that's what I'm saying. For me, as a fairly new paper crafter, I'm not accustomed. I'm not trained my eye to recognize that I'm not going to look at the whole thing. You know what I mean? Like, it just takes practice and time and building journals and like anything else we do in life. So I changed my mind and I said, well, I'm just going to make these little pockets. And I did that. And I think I glued them. Looks like I glued them a lot. But that's okay, because I don't want anything really wide in here anyway. But yeah, so and then you can see here, I made sure and cut down the middle just so it wouldn't have that extra bulk there. Now on this one, I decided, I did cut the 2-inch strip off. What I did for this is I took this 2 inches and I put it up here, but I cut it at a slant. You see this right here? See how that's slanted right there? And I think what I'm going to do, it depends. Again, I can't see it right now. I can't see it visually. I'm reaching down here for something real quick. I may add some type of fabric piece to this right here. It probably won't be this, of course, but some type of either rickrack or lace or something that's going to just give it a visual interest right here. That's what I'm thinking. So that's an up tuck, okay? And then I just did the little pocket down here. Again, probably what I would do, let me see something, is I'm going to take the sticker sheet and probably find some kind of little sticker. Now, I could do something as bold as this, this Be Happy, or something as simple, but I think that would be pretty impactful because it's just so pretty, this Be Humble. Yeah. So then you have your center signatures. But again, realizing that they're not as wide as they need to be. They're going to be short. I know this. So in order to address that in the center, I'm going to look for some type of pages, because I don't think I'm going to hinge them. I might, but I don't think that's how this is going to work out. I think I'm going to look for some kind of page. Let's just look at it like this. Some kind of page that is going to go all the way across, but that will complement the color here. I think. I really think that's what I'm going to wind up doing. Either that, or, another thing that I could do, I could get some, and I do have some very wide lace, like inch wide lace, and just make it like that. That would be the hinge, essentially. That would become the hinge. We may do that. So that's kind of where I start, okay? That's where I start picking pages. Then I think about what kind of pages, what kind of look, and I start going through my book pages. Now, I knew that this flower book, I've used it in the past, had some bees on it. That's a little bug. But the bee, yeah, here's the bees. But it's very bright. It's very bright. I could cut that down This is a maybe. Probably, this is a probably not. I'm just going to go ahead and say that's probably not. Okay. I love the Granny Chic book for pages like this, just because, you know, whenever I think of bees and gardens and flowers and homespun things, honey, it's just kind of where my mind goes. Then I have the How to Be a Wildflower book. I love this book too. So I have some pages that I can pull from that, but they're very neutral type pages. Now, are they wide enough? No, they are not. But again, I can hinge those. So I just pull, I don't necessarily pull for size. Like I don't really think about, oh, well, that's too big or that's too small. I just kind of pull from in my mind's eye, what I want the look of the book to be, or what I want to start working towards. And I may make this harder on myself than it needs to be, but that's just kind of what I do. This is from the Granny Chic book again. I know more than likely I'm going to use some map visuals. Now, I love these books. These are children's like encyclopedia type books. So I have a ton of them, and I can go through and even find probably some type of garden or some type of floral reference, or maybe even a bee reference. But I know that I'm going to find a page like that. Okay. Here's even more of them. So yeah, these are all kind of the same book. And I love these pages. I have a bunch of these. I have like, I don't know, 6 or 7 out of the set. I pull from them quite often, either for book page or to even make ephemera with, because the pages themselves are very heavy, very sturdy pages. These particular ones already have that kind of creamy, patinaed look around the edges. And the page itself is a creamy color. It's not stark white. So that's another option that I kind of always gravitate towards when it comes to a book that's aged. I'll call that's a book that's aged. Then I have a number of National Geographic books, and these books, these are older, and they come apart in leaflets. So I know that I could probably go through these and find something either that is a visual correlation to what I'm working on, bees or gardening or something like that, or I can use them because I love the text and I know I'm going to cover this up anyway with either a big pocket or, you know, something. So that's another option that I will typically pull from. I have several bird type books. This is an Audubon book, actually. And I think is this a single page? This is a single page. Now, while this is certainly, it's not a creamy background, I think it complements it because it's black and white and it has grayish kind of undertone to it. So I'll probably use a page like this. Again, is it long enough? No. It's not. So I'll either do this. I'll either figure out and come where it is a short side right here, and then I'll hinge on this side, which is a lot of the times that's what I'll do. I'll hinge, and I may come through and hinge like a ledger page or a lined notebook paper, because you're going to have more writing space. So that's one of the things that I look at. Let's see what else is in here. This is from a yearbook. It's already been cut down. I'd pulled it for another project and it didn't work in the project, or I had too many pages or something. And I thought, well, you know what? This would lend itself to a book like this because, again, off-white background, black and white pictures, just kind of interesting visually. But again, I'll have to figure out a hinge for that. Let's see. These are from children's like it's a science book. This was a children's science book. It was from the early 70s, I think. And I pulled this section with flowers and bees that happen to have these visuals of bees. Flowers and their helpers. So I thought, oh, these are definite. Yeah, we're going to definitely use these. Again, probably, I bet I'll have to hinge. Nope, I don't even have to hinge those. Okay, good. I actually have to cut these down a little bit. Just cut a sliver off that. So that, now you see I'm not counting, right? I'm not counting yet. I'm not to that point. This is my process of kind of how I go through and pick pages. Now, I then start looking at other elements that I'm going to put in the book, and while these are not pages, they're going to be a part of the signature as if they were a page, because they're going to add the bulk that a page would add. They're not going to, in other words, they're not going to be glued onto a page. This is going to be counted in the signature, but it's a bag. This is one of the ones that I'm going to use. I knew I had, I think this is the last oversized bag that I have like this. I got this in Happy Mail, so I knew I wanted to use it. So that's going to be, let's call it a page element. Okay, so I know I'll probably wind up using that. And then there was something else. Oh, here, let me show you. I know, again, this doily, I just got these from Miss Wanda. Thank you, Miss Wanda. This is going to become an element, a page element, right? Like we can't write on it, but I bet you what I could do, and what I might do, is I may take, like I have some vintage ledger paper, for example. I may see if I can glue some of that ledger paper on this side so you can use it to write in. But we'll see. But that's going to be part of the signature. So I have to count that in that page count because it's going to add like it's a page. Okay. So there's that. And then I have, let's not forget these regular scrap. I am going to use a couple of more pages, 1 to 2 more pages of this scrapbook paper line in the signature, and I will hinge these. Okay, so that'll become part of the process, part of the book build itself. Then I'm going to pull, I have some Ideals magazines, and I know I'm probably too far away from you, so I'm sorry I turned my back. The sound on that's going to be poor, so I apologize. I have a few Ideals magazines, so I know that Ideals is a look in this book that I'll want, and I know I have some images to pull from that. Now, what I'll do probably going in the next segment of this video is I'll show you, because I don't want to do the cutting down process and the hinging of the pages. We would be here for 3, 4, 5 hours if I did all that. I will come back and show you the signatures that are picked. Now, they won't be sewn in or anything like that, but I'll do a flip through. Show you real quick, and then we're gonna wind this up. These are not in any particular order. You'll see here, I started using these rubber bands. I mentioned this on a video before. I saw my friend Sean at Recycled Messages use these rubber bands to hold her signatures together while she was making her journal. They're fabulous. I love them. I'll link them. Anywho, so this, again, not in any particular order, but just to give you an idea of what kind of pages, you know, the feel, the look of them. This is some, not map, it's like sea, like oceanographic. That's not even pronounced correctly. Please strike that from the record. Some vintage yearbook, vintage, like a children's kind of encyclopedia. Here is the Echo Park paper line. And you can see the back end of this. Okay, and then here is the book, and I may just leave this signature will probably wind up like this, where the book is probably going to be in the middle. That's what I'm thinking at this point. I don't know that I will embellish these pages. I really don't think I am going to. I might, but if I do, it may be just like a little piece of fabric washi here and there, maybe some fabric clusters, but I love the look of this book so much. I rounded all the corners of the pages, and I did this decorative stitching on that. So I really think that's going to stay like it is. And then this is the third signature. Little fabric pocket started there. Some vintage type office ephemera, if you will. Granny chic book. Here's a little bag with a little side tuck. This is How to Be a Wildflower book. Some more children's dictionary or encyclopedia, vintage type pages. And here is a little tuck here, a little triple tuck there. And then a map page, the center signature, just so you get a feel of kind of what the vibe of this book is going to be. So anyway, that is it. Got this little pocket on the front. This is wallpaper, actually. Isn't that pretty? And then the same on the back with a little... So anyway, thank you guys so much for joining me on this video. I do hope that whatever it is you get to do today or in the next few days, it is at least as much fun as I'm having creating this bee-inspired journal. Thanks. We'll chat soon. Bye.